Module 16, your prospecting pipeline. You're familiar with a business pipeline and a client pipeline. That's where you've already met with a potential client and you've put something on the table, a proposal, or you furnished them with advice, and you're following up on that in pursuit of closing the deal or moving forward with business. That is very important, and I support your continued use of that. But at the same time, I also invite you to create a separate and additional prospecting pipeline to follow up on the conversations that you've had with potential clients in pursuit of that first meeting. You know, through this program and the respective modules, that prospecting is about approaching and connecting with potential clients in pursuit of that first meeting. Now, you may be in any number of conversations with any number of clients at any given time. And it's often quite challenging to keep up with those conversations and remember what you said to whom and who needs to follow up, how, and by when. A system and a process that supports you in this regard is very useful. You can use anything you want. You can use a sheet of paper, an A5 notebook, you can use the whiteboard on your wall, or you can create an Excel spreadsheet, or even use your CRM system if it has modules in it that support such a pipeline. You need to include detail, of course the person's name, but also when you spoke last, the detail of what you spoke about and who has to take action and what action that is and by whom. Ball's usually in your court in this regard. Because if you don't keep such detail, you might get confused and you risk looking less professional than you want to. There's nothing worse than contacting a potential client that you've had a conversation with and his or her response is, "You asked me that question already," or "We had this conversation already," or "I told you that, why are you calling so early?" Whatever it may be, if you know where you are in the conversation and in the process of getting them from not having any kind of rapport to having that first meeting, you will come across more professionally. It's also about the client experience. That experience doesn't happen from the first meeting or after the first meeting once you're going back and forth with the advice and trying to close the business or even ongoing. The experience begins at the approach stage. How you approach your client begins the experience. How you connect with your potential client begins the experience. The experience is continued in how you follow up with that potential client in securing that first meeting. That doesn't end. And having a system and a process that supports you in being as professional as you can in that follow-up goes a very long way in assisting the potential client to make that decision to enter into that first meeting with you. The document that comes with this module plays around with this a little bit and shows you an example of a spreadsheet excerpt with the kind of information that you might like to create and include in whichever solution you come up with. It also looks at the psychology of both you as the prospect and the potential client so we can understand the thinking that's going on during this process of moving from nothing toward the first meeting. Tomorrow, we're going to begin taking learnings into action.